I-95 southbound shut down in St. Johns County, and it could last well into the morning. This is a live look from our DOT camera. Police are investigating a crash after a suspect led them on a high-speed chase in one of their own cars. This is brand new video into our newsroom that shows the moment the suspect got into that unmarked cruiser and took off. We first told you about this mess on the interstate in a push alert at around 7:30 tonight.
And since then, the highway's been shut down and drivers being urged to seek an alternative route. The crash happened near mile marker 301. That's south of State Road 207 and north of State Road 206. And here's a better look at the scene from the ground. You can see a gray unmarked SUV surrounded by St. Johns County Sheriff's deputies and their cruisers. News4JAX crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson is standing by with some perspective on this bizarre situation tonight.
Well, we start with News4JAX's Eric Avignon, who's live at the scene. And Eric, he just talked to deputies.
That is correct. In fact, we just got here to the scene. It took us a while to get here because of traffic being rerouted. But I can tell you that in the time that we got here, it appears that three wreckers, flatbeds, have just arrived on scene, and they're in place now to remove that stolen, unmarked SUV. So it appears to also, they're going to remove some other law enforcement vehicles that were involved in the chase. Now, I want to go back to that video that you guys were just talking about. That's the video where we see how this chase takes place. This video was shot by one of our News4JAX viewers. Very dramatic video showing that man get into the vehicle and that unmarked SUV and running off. Now, as you said earlier on, I did just speak to a spokesperson with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, and here's what he tells him. He says that there was a deputy that was positioned on Highway 16 near I-95. He says a vehicle went through a stop, then came to a halt near the deputy. A passenger got out of the vehicle. Then the driver got out of the vehicle. That driver was covered in blood. The deputy offered to help the man covered in blood, but says the man became very confrontational. At that point, the deputy hears over the radio that the man covered in blood may have been involved in some sort of incident that happened in Jacksonville. The deputy and the man covered in blood got into more of an altercation, and that deputy tased the man, but the tase wire broke. At this point, as the confrontation continues between the two, an off-duty deputy in an unmarked SUV pulls up and helps to try and help the deputy take the man into custody. Now, we're told that that off-duty deputy goes to the back of his SUV to retrieve equipment to help the other deputy. That's when the suspect breaks loose from handcuffs and jumps into that unmarked SUV and takes off, leading deputies on a high-speed chase down southbound I-95. That chase ended near the St. Johns County Flagler line after deputies used a pit maneuver on the stolen vehicle. The suspect was immediately removed from the vehicle, and I'm told he was taken to the hospital in critical condition from injuries that they say he sustained in Jacksonville. Now, the two deputies that were originally taking part in and taking this guy into custody also went to the hospital for precautionary measures. I'm told that those precautionary measures has to do with the fact that they were exposed to a lot of blood that was coming off this driver. Of course, there's a lot of questions that need answers, and we're trying to get those answers for you. As soon as we do, we will post those on our website, News4JAX.com. Reporting live from I-95, Eric Avignon, Channel 4, the local station.
Thanks, Eric. And now News4JAX crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson's joining us on the phone to give us some perspective on this bizarre incident.
Yeah, Ken, really, not to be too critical, but how could this happen? How does a suspect get a chance to get behind the wheel of, in this case, a deputy's car, even if it's not a marked cruiser?
Well, the deputy possibly got distracted a little bit some kind of way. I'm not sure if the suspect had been completely handcuffed, but he may have been in the process of handcuffing him. But he also got distracted some kind of way, and the suspect was able to get in the car and flee. And I must add, a very bold move to get in a police car and try to flee from the police.
It was quite impressive seeing that video that we saw there. As a former officer, Ken, can you share with us what goes into pulling off a pit maneuver? It did work in this case because they were able to at least get him to stop the car, but is it a risky move?
Yeah, the pit maneuver, better known as pursuit intervention technique, is somewhat of a risky move, but officers are trained. They're trained to wait until the conditions are right before attempting this kind of maneuver to avoid the use of deadly force. And basically all they're doing during the pursuit, they can force a fleeing car to turn sideways, causing the driver to lose control, which, if it's done properly, almost every time, just about every time, you're going to take that suspect into custody, and that car is going to do the exact thing that the pit maneuver is designed to do. So it is a very risky move, but officers are trained to know when and how to do it properly.
Yeah, and we're going to find out more about exactly what went into this, but a bizarre scene tonight. And Ken Jefferson, our News4JAX crime and safety expert, appreciate hearing some of your insights there.